In this video, I'm going to give two examples of building and resolving conflict. You can think of these examples as shortened examples of the full 5-stage storytelling because I'm going to focus mainly on the rising action and climax stages. As I go through these examples, I would like you to think about the conflict that was generated and how that conflict was resolved with data. Here is the first example. We have a team of clever and ambitious engineers who developed a new light metal alloy to reinforce cars. The new alloy is stronger yet lighter, so you'd think it should make the cars safer. But car safety is so important, so we can't just go on intuition. Therefore, we ran an experiment where we drove test cars into a brick wall, with test dummies, of course, in the seats to determine the injury. Now, we thought this would be a simple experiment with simple results, but I think you will be as surprised as we were. This graph shows the number of test crashes out of 10 in which a serious injury was inflicted on the test dummies using the existing and the new metal alloys. It turned out, actually, that the new alloy was much more dangerous. The engineers were surprised by this, but on further research, it turned out that the new alloy was brittle. That means that it withstood more force, but when it reached its breaking point, it just shattered. So this experiment was really important because it showed the engineers exactly how to improve the design and material for the next version of the alloy. Okay, here is a second example. There was a recent political election, and the candidate that was predicted to lose actually won the election. So how did that candidate defy conventional wisdom, and who were the people that voted for that candidate over the candidate that everyone thought would win? Every news anchor and journalist has their own little theory about why it happened and which group of people swung the election. But most of those theories are very different, which means that really no one knows. And this is why our polling company sought to do a large-scale poll. Now, I have to admit, we thought that the results would be pretty clear-cut. We thought we would be able to find a specific group of voters that swung the election based on their, for example, education levels and based on their postal code, which is related to economic status. But we were wrong. You can see here that the polls don't show any clear results, and this means that we couldn't predict voting behavior purely based on factors like education and wealth. Now, I'm only showing a tiny bit of the results here. We sliced the data in every way we could think of, and it basically always looked like this, with razor-thin margins that didn't clearly separate by group. In fact, this is the first time that we've gotten such confusing results, and now you can understand why all the journalists are saying different things. So on the one hand, this is disappointing, but on the other hand, this means that we're just not asking the right questions, and we're already hard at work to develop new and better polling methods. We'll have those results in about 2 months, and I look forward to updating you then, hopefully with a set of findings that is easier to interpret and better to build political strategies on. So there you go, 2 fictitious examples of conflict and resolution. There is conflict everywhere, in everyone, and therefore in every story. Remember that the conflict doesn't have to mean a life or death situation. It can be as simple as the idea that your intuition is wrong. People long for resolution of conflict, and seeing conflict resolved is deeply satisfying. Try to use this to your advantage by bringing conflict into your story and then using the data to resolve that conflict, or at least to try to improve the situation.